January 16th, 2023. I'm going to look at a piece of land that we've had listed since end of August last year. That looks like it's got a lot of potential for development. This is about 12 acres. It's location-wise, it's just east of Cricket Creek Marina, right here. It's in Omaha, Arkansas. There's no vacation rental restrictions. There's no planning and zoning, no permits of any kind other than new septic installs, and you're exempt from that if you have a property over 10 acres, which this is 12. So the property itself sits right here. You can kind of see the clearing from this house, and then there's another house right here. So this 12-acre property is actually two parcels. There's a 2.3 acre property kind of right about here. Actually, if you look at this map, it's a little more clear. But yeah, here's parcel number 1. It's 2.3 acres, and then parcel number 2 is just over 9 acres right here. So the location's great for vacation rental development. You know, obviously with the lack of restrictions, less than 5 minutes to the marina. You've got a little bit of dirt gravel road to access the property right here on Branch. It is pavement up until that point. It's a pretty steep drive coming down here, and I used to drive back and forth on this road all the time. The only time it's real hairy is if you have any snow or ice, because there's really no infrastructure in place here for snow and ice removal on the county level. So if you get any kind of snow or ice on this hillside, you're pretty much stuck down here until it melts, unless you've got pretty solid four-wheel drive. So they've got this listed for $240,000. It's got a creek that runs through the back of the property, so it's a really cool kind of area to hike into. It'd be kind of hard to develop over on this far side, and this drawing isn't 100% accurate. Actually, it's not, probably less than that even. But if you look at the aerial overhead, here's where the creek comes through right here. So it probably takes up, it really cuts off more than half of the property going to the south here. And I'll link another YouTube video on this where I'm actually walking the whole property and driving it from the marina down to it, so you can see how the dirt road looks and all that kind of stuff. My thoughts on this property are, you know, if you could partition it off and divide it into several lots. You know, this one that's already cleared off, you know, the previous owner had the intention of building a shop in here. He owned all of this, and then back in this house too. It's all been split off since then. So he's already got this cleared off and leveled so that someone can build right here. And would actually have a nice little bit of a lake view from this lot, if I recall correctly. You might have to do a little bit of clearing right here, but you know, it's already got electric right here in the road. The holdup's going to be water. So Omaha City Water Service ends up the road right here. So you'd have to have a private well drilled for all of this. The current owner is on the waiting list to have a well put in. There's no indication as to how long that's going to take. When I looked into it last year, Omaha City Water will tie in. They'll put in new meters, but it's got to be at the new owner's expense for running the main over. And I forget the exact number of feet that it was to run from here to there. You pull it up on Google Earth, but I think the actual cost as of last year was about $60,000 to run that main all the way down to essentially the beginning of where you'd want to develop. And I think I ran that number down through here too. So, so my thoughts on this property are, you've got several build sites right here if you wanted to. This would make a cool little campground or like glamping area. So you can have, you know, you can have your parking and check-in right here. And then the current owners actually had this all perked out for septic. So his intention on building on this land was to put several small cabins and then a house for himself. So he's already gone through the process of having it perked out, make sure it's conducive for several septic systems, which it looks like it is based on the report that I saw. And then, you know, if you were to go in over on this side, whether you kept that business model going or not, you know, you could do a driveway easement along the eastern boundary of the property all the way down south. And I say doing a driveway easement because that would make access a lot easier than if you were to, say, partition off, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 of these and then have, you know, you'd have landlock issues. So it just makes it easier in the way that the topography lays out, you know, to be able to cut a road all the way down through here, at least until this point when you get to this creek. My thought here is, you know, to be able to jump to the other side and develop this would be great, but you're looking at a pretty substantial infrastructure cost to get a bridge cut across this creek to be able to access it by road. my thought was, to be a little more cost effective, say you do that driveway easement all the way down through here, at least to this section, and then you did a lot line separation and cut the bottom part of the property off here, and then you put parking here, and then a footbridge, and then you had glamping sites over on the southern end of the property. I think that would be really cool. But there's a whole bunch of different uses for this. Like I said, right now he's got it listed at the 240,000. We may go ahead and split these off into separate lots and change that pricing around. But what really intrigues me is what some of the surrounding properties are doing here in terms of short-term rental. So this is the property that you see on the map right here, just to the east of this. It is the highest producing property in Omaha, Arkansas right now that I can find. And I talked to this owner towards the end of August, and he said that for the first summer that they ran this thing as a short-term rental, they did $100,000 in revenue. I think it was from end of May through end of August or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's got a private above-ground pool and a hot tub, and it's a 4-bedroom with a nice little lake view. But this is the property right there, right below him, that is available. So, based on actual performance in the area, it looks like it'd be worth doing something with this property. I mean, this guy's just killing it here. So again, $240,000 for 12 acres. Downsides are you've got a little bit of a dirt road to get to it. I don't think it's a deal breaker for most people. The biggest downside, I think, is the accessibility of the water. We have to make sure that we can get a well drilled on the property, or justify the expense of carrying the city water main all the way down there. But it could be a really cool one.